Hey everybody, this is Patrick Shaka, Editor-in-Chief of Yachting Magazine, and today I have with me James Nobel, Vice President and Marketing Director of Princess Yachts America, and we're going to talk all things Princess Yachts America, from the company to new models, so stay tuned, it's going to be awesome. James, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Patrick. Good to see you. Always nice to talk.
Good to see you as well. Looks a little warmer where you are than where I am.
It is. It's actually it's our beautiful winter South Florida weather here. Perfect temperatures and dry skies.
I'm very jealous. I'm looking at snowflakes on our weather forecast. So today we're going to talk about Princess Yachts America, which is kind of a unique brand in the boat building world, and we're going to get into that right now. So my first question to you is, for those who may not be familiar, who is Princess Yachts America, and how does that relate to the Princess Yachts in the UK that people are really familiar with from the boat building side of the equation?
That's a great question. And the shorter version, or the concise version, is that in 1995, Viking Yacht Company, obviously based out of New Gretna, New Jersey, sought to form a partnership to bring European cruising boats into the market, supported in the same way that the vessels, the sport fishing boats that were built right in New Jersey were. With the same philosophy of customer service through a dealer network and focus on the customer user experience. So after a lot of searching, we found Princess Yachts over in the UK in Plymouth, and a partnership was formed. And from 1995 through about 2010, we marketed the product as Viking Sport Cruisers, because Princess was not a strongly known entity in the US. They had some footprint in the US prior to 1995, but it wasn't a household name. So the thought was to leverage the Viking name as far as a marketing perspective, but also to let people know that what we were doing was different from just bringing a boat from overseas and delivering it to the end user. We really were intending to deliver the ownership experience with a European-built vessel that you might expect from something built here stateside. So, but in 2010, Princess started to push the Princess name a lot more globally. They became part of the LVMH family through El Capital at the time. And their focus became, let's get the Princess name out there, because they started in 1965. The original founder is still very much involved even to this day with the company. And they've always built a fantastic boat, but weren't great about shouting about it. You know, marketing was never the strong point. They let the product do the talking, much like Viking, to be honest with you. And the two companies had such a great philosophy and synergy. And so in 2010, the focus shifted to, well, let's tell everybody what we have here. It's a great product. We're focused on moving forward and continuing to build it better all the time. And they started to use the Princess name globally. So we got on board with that in our market, and we started to use the name Princess Yachts America. So Princess Yachts America officially is the distributor for North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. That hasn't changed since our partnership was formed in 1995. You know, using the name Princess Yachts America just simply aligns us with the mother brand, so to speak, that's used around the world. And so since 2010, which was our 2011 model year, every yacht sold through our market, into our market, has been branded Princess, and sold and distributed through Princess Yachts America and our dealer network, which spans the North America, Central, and Caribbean market.
One of the really interesting things about Princess Yachts, and having been over to your factory a few times, is the range of yachts that you offer. You literally can take an owner from your first boat to your mega yacht. So could you kind of give an overview of the model range that you offer boaters?
Yeah, of course. And Princess, over the last several years, has expanded the range. When we started in 95, we had what they considered to be a V-class yacht, which was more of the express range, and they had a flybridge yacht, which of course, self-explanatory flybridge boats. And their range was more in the sort of upper 30s, low 40s, up until about 65 to 70 feet. I started in 1999 with Princess Yachts America, and the biggest boat we distributed here was the 72, and that was the biggest boat that Princess built. Fast forward 25 plus years, and now we've expanded the classes to include a number of different models. These days we have an R class, which starts with the R35, and I know you and I had a great ride on that last summer over in the UK in the summer of 2019. And so that was sort of viewed as a boat to get people into the brand, but it's also very unique in that it's got a performance and a foiling aspect to it. We have an F class, which is flybridge yachts from 45 up to now 62 feet. We have a Y class, which starts with a new Y72 that's coming out and goes all the way up to the new Y95 that's on the drawing board for the future as well. We have the S-Class yachts, which start at 62 feet and go all the way up to 78 feet. And we've done quite well with that range in the US market. The idea there, just to visit that briefly, was that in 2014, we launched the S72 actually here in the US, was the first model of the S-Class. And the idea there was to bring the best of the motor yacht, flybridge style yacht with the express yacht. So it's a smaller flybridge. The boat has a garage like our V-Class yachts have. You have the ability to open up the interior of the boat with a large sliding sunroof. So it kind of brings and merges the best of the flybridge world with the express world. And then now we have the Y-Class. So we brought those motor yachts in. So flybridge, motor yacht, and really the distinction there is when you get into that above 70-foot range, the crew quarter becomes more of a feature in the boat. The idea there is it's moving from owner-operator to possibly crew involvement and running the boat, build a little bit more entertaining space, more of a formal setup than what you're going to find on the flybridge class. And of course, the V range has maintained its stronghold as a very good boat for us here in the U.S. market. And we start there as small as 40 feet, and we go all the way up to 78 with the V78. So quite a diverse offering. Recently, Princess built as big as 132 feet with what they consider the M class, and that was a 30 meter, a 35, and a 40 meter. We've gotten away from that because we found that the focus, particularly for this market, we really seem to hit our stride between that 40 and 100-foot market. And quite honestly, it's more in the 50 to, say, 85 markets where we've done particularly well here. We're adding a new class here, and we've just launched a new X95. And we're actually just about to see our first X95 in the North American market in time for the upcoming Palm Beach show this spring. So spring of 2021 will be the North American premiere of the X95. And that'll be the first time that model is shown anywhere on any kind of scale in the world. Princess has now launched 4 X95s, and we haven't had the ability to show one at a show. They've all been built to order. We have a customer waiting for this one that's coming in as well. But fortunately, we'll be able to show that boat around a little bit. And so the X-Class brings a whole new element to the Princess range, where particularly with the X95, we have something that Princess has never offered before, which is an enclosed sky lounge. We're going to expand that range to include an X80 very soon. That boat's already been announced. It's well under development and actually just about ready to start hitting build and development on the first hull. So as you can see, we've evolved the range over the years. With Princess Yachts America, we offer all of the models that Princess offers worldwide, of course, built to order and built with the U.S. market as the forefront user market. So each of our boats is built specifically for use in the U.S. market. We do bring them in for inventory. Of course, these days, the boating industry has enjoyed a very busy time, so inventory is quite limited. And we're not bringing in tons and tons of boats a year. Princess as a builder is just shy of 300 boats a year in their maximum capacity, just over 300 boats a year, and when they really are maxing things out. And of that, we basically will deliver anywhere between 45 to just over 50 boats a year in this market across the range. So we're a pretty big chunk of what they produce. But again, it's a diverse enough range that you're not going to find 15 V50 sitting around at one given time. So it's quite a special product. It's something that we've enjoyed supporting and building over the years and seeing develop with the American market as more of a forefront user market in mind.
Right. So you as a distributor working with the builder and building across all these multiple lines and sizes and fitting all sorts of different boating needs, and also serving the Americas market, which Central and South America may be very different from North America. What kind of relationship do you have with Princess when it comes to creating new models, and what kind of input do you provide to ensure that the boats that you want to bring here are outfitted and set up and laid out and all ready for the markets that you serve?
One of the things from day one, Patrick, that really made the partnership work, and one of the reasons why we ended up with the partnership with Princess. We did work with a number of other builders that we considered partnering with, and in the end, it was Princess. And the reason is that, of course, as I said, Viking Yachts is our sister company, established in 1964 by the Healy family, still owned and operated to this day with that family. And the philosophies were so similar. Both integrated companies that are basically building 80% or more of the boat in-house, And we saw that in Princess very early on. We saw a similar way of thinking and approaching not only the build of the boat, but continually looking to improve and taking the feedback from the end user and putting it into the new product that's coming out. And so with that type of vertical integration, you've seen it firsthand. We started with Princess with something that was already existing. And there's only so much that you can do with a production boat where it's already in the mold, the systems are already laid out. So the early boats that we brought in the, say, late 90s and early 2000s even, were very much modified European boats. We had the systems and the wiring for the US, we had the air conditioning and the generator sizing where it needed to be. But there was still a little bit of a ways to go. Number one, for the American consumer to get used to that product coming into more of the mainstream. Are the showers big enough? Is the electrical load high enough for what we're doing? Hair dryers, cooktops. Not that they don't do that in Europe and the rest of the world, but as you know, our customers tend to be very heavy users. They do long-term cruises. They're going further distances than what you're going to find typically even in places like the Mediterranean. It's very much a day boating philosophy in a lot of where Princess was used. And now shifting over to North America, where our customers don't think anything of going, leaving the dock for a couple of weeks at a time. And they expect that vessel has the ability to support their lifestyle, just like they're at their own home. So over the years, I would say in the early 2000s, we really started to see the design mentality and the design ethos shift from this is a boat, we're going to modify it to work in the US, to what is the U.S. market looking for? We're a giant pain in the ass, so to speak, if you forgive the language, for Princess, because our customers are very demanding. They're looking for bigger accommodations than what the builder was used to doing, and so that shift took a little bit of time. But when it started to happen, and for me personally, I go back to the launch of our first 61, and this goes back to 2003, 2004. And that boat was one of the first that we brought in that was literally from a clean sheet of paper. They looked at the US market and said, this has to work for Americans. And if the Americans are happy with it, more than likely it's going to suit the rest of the world. Maybe they don't need as much air conditioning. Maybe they're not as worried about the bigger engines. But if we accommodate that from the get-go for the US market, we can certainly adapt it for the rest of the world. And as time has gone on over the last 18 years since the launch of that boat in the US, the rest of the world has more or less started to demand a lot of the same things. So these days, Princess will develop 4 to 5 new models a year, and each one of those new models is by and large from a clean sheet of paper. From time to time, they will take, as you saw, they'll come out with a 75 motor yacht or a Y75, and then from that they'll develop the S78 and the V78. So there is some platform. Which again is actually Viking does the same thing with a sport fish hull. They'll make an open, they'll make an enclosed bridge, and they'll make a convertible. So that just comes from efficiency. You can create several models out of one approach. However, it's always from the clean sheet of paper when you get to the rest of the design. Even in that case, when you're bringing out a new model, you're starting from scratch, or you might be taking notes from what that model is replacing. And these days, the American market, the electrical needs, the air conditioning, the accommodations, refrigeration, all of those things are very much put into the formula, so to speak, when a boat is brought out. And I would argue that some of the designs, like the 85, for example, that we launched back in Palm Beach just about a year and a half ago, is very much, has actually been one of our most successful models in this market because of that approach.
So one of the things I've noticed, having met, Princess owners and interviewed several over the years, is the level of familial feel they have for the brand. So for somebody who's a potential owner, what kind of is the process like when they're selecting the boat and they're working with your team? Because I've met your team, and I know there's a lot of interaction between your team and the owners to be able to personalize the boat and really make it theirs. So what is that process like for an owner coming into Princess for the first time?
Yeah, it's evolved. Years ago, we started with a very traditional model of we're the distributor and we sell to our dealers. We have over 55 dealer locations throughout North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. Many of those dealers almost all of them, as a matter of fact, have been with us since we started the partnership in '95, because many of them almost all of them are also Viking yacht dealers. So they are very much in the family. And those dealers are chosen because of their customer service orientation, their course, they're great at selling boats, but most of what they do well is centered on customer service. And where we step in our philosophy is very much the same. We wanted to, from the day we started, deliver an ownership experience to our customers that was the same as if they had bought a boat built right here in the US. So we have over $2 million worth of spare parts inventory at our main facility in New Jersey at the Viking Yachts factory. And that's design specific because, again, 80% of the boat is built in-house, vertical integration. There are components that you can't just go to the nearest marine store and find. So we stock those parts in-house and we sell them online through an online parts store to customers. So when we get a call from a customer that might have a boat that's 15 or 20 years old, the parts more than likely are sitting on a shelf, or we can get them to them very expeditiously. Our dealers are there where our customers are cruising. So with that expansive over 55 location network, it's a very, very slim chance that a customer is not going to be able to get to either a dealer location or a service network that we have already in place, after 25 years of doing it. So I think when a customer comes to our brand, that's one of the things that we start the conversation with is that, it's a great product. We start out, Princess builds a very high quality product. They build as much of it in-house as they can to control that quality. They back it up with a great dealer network around the globe. And they pick their distributors because of the way they approach customer service and the way they approach their understanding of the product, well-trained. We as a distributor even have a growing support team that actually will go out and assist our dealer network in certain areas where we know, for example, in Florida, we have 70% of our customers here right now this time of year, even if they bought their boat up, in your area in New York or somewhere like that, they're here now. So we have to grow our support team to help support the local dealer and help support those visiting customers who might have bought their boat from a dealer in the Northeast. So the ownership experience is really first and foremost. When a customer comes to our brand, we're talking to them about not only the features and the fact that we do build the boat from layup for the US market. So this is not a boat that can be converted from European build. Once we order a boat to be built for our market, it's going to be built with the proper wiring, the proper systems, the proper appliances that we still send containers over from the US full of appliances that you can't, or if you buy them in Europe, they can't be warranted and serviced in the US. So we're starting from layup to build that boat so that it's owner friendly as far as service and experience here in the US. We introduce them to our dealer network. We get them connected with the dealer that's going to be the servicing dealer in their area. So again, service and customer experience is the first part of the conversation. Because we're not dealing with huge volume and we're not stocking huge volumes here, all the boats come through Princess Yachts America. So whatever's available for sale is being held by Princess Yachts America, and all of our dealers can sell off of that, with a few exceptions of far-reaching dealers like on the West Coast, for example, of the country, in California and up in Canada. We do have some stocking dealers. However, by and large, most of the products is being brought in primarily into Palm Beach or New Jersey to our main facilities. We have an office here right in Palm Beach, right on the water. And all the boats are held here. So the dealers can bring their customers here. They know what's coming in, and the availability is limited, but they're getting introduced to their servicing dealer, and they're meeting our team, because our team of people from sales to customer service to interior design, we want to get as many touch points as possible with the customer, because Princess is very much about connection. It's very much about the fact that the product is crafted, not manufactured. So there are hands on this product when it's being built, and there's hands on this product when it's being delivered and handed to the customer. And then there are hands and personal connection with the customer all throughout the ownership experience. We do a number of events throughout the year, including customer rendezvous that we call owners holidays. We do them in the Bahamas and Florida. We're up in the Northeast and New England in the summer. And those are opportunities for our customers to come together. We've had a great buildup over the last 10 years of doing these events, where customers are now looking forward to it. They're on their second and third generation of Princess with us. We've seen friendships formed around these events. And of course, that's not something that we're the only ones that do that. There's a lot of people that do rendezvous and getaways. And it's a great approach, because it really does connect your customers around their common passion. But I do think that what we do best is customer service. And what we do best is putting the customer first, in the sense that they always have a way to reach their dealer. They have a way to reach Princess Yachts America. And we have backup teams in place. So if there's a customer service manager at their selling dealer We have a service manager here. And even to the fact, and you've seen it, because you've been to the factory with us, even the sales representative that we have in the UK, the marketing representative, the customer service representative, most of our customers have interacted with those folks because they've come to our events here, or they've been to the factory to see a boat and build, or they've been to visit their own boat. Actually, as much of the video calls that we do nowadays, we've actually now established a system where, like a lot of builders are doing, we can connect the customer to one of our people in the UK, and we're right there with them. When the customer sits down with Princess Yachts America, they're sitting with their local selling dealer, they're sitting with one of our representatives, and then they're also talking with the factory representative all together. So it's very much we know all of our customers, so to speak.
Right. And you do, because I've seen them at your booth, and you know all of them by name.
Yeah, and that's for the viewers, honestly, I know that there are people out there that may have just bought a Princess, and maybe you're not the first owner, maybe you're the second, third, or fourth at this point over 20 years, 25 years. We're into several generations of vessels. And one of the biggest things that we strive to do, and our dealers strive to do, is we try to connect with those owners that we maybe didn't deliver the boat to as new. Mm-hmm. And we love meeting those owners because they're coming into the brand from a different way other than a new delivery. It's really easy to know your new boat customers,
right?
But some of the most important, in addition to the new boat customers, are the ones who are coming to you through a used boat, because they don't get the same necessarily experience as a new boat buyer does, and we want to reach out and we want to connect with them. So I guess this is a bit of a PA at the moment, but we do everything we can, and that's part of the reason why we built an online parts store. It's part of the reason why we're doing some of the other initiatives that we're doing to try to capture as many of those new customers that are coming into us, maybe through used boat sales or pre-owned market, whether it's through our dealers or an outside brokerage, because we want to know and grow our family as much as possible.
Right. You had mentioned about speccing boats for the markets you serve. But what level of personalization can a Princess owner put into their boat? I mean, are you pre-selecting the decor items to a certain menu, or is there a certain level of customization that they can actually imbue upon their boat?
Well, obviously, Princess is a production builder. There's no getting away from that. However, if you're ordering a boat, there is a degree of, and honestly, the bigger the boat, you get more of this, but there is quite a lot of room for customization when it comes to, for example, if a customer would like more storage in a master stateroom, take out a settee, put it in a cabinet. We've done offices over the years in place of staterooms. So there's actually more flexibility than you would think, and it all comes down to how far in advance of the build order due date that we're working. If it's an inventory boat, typically we will order a boat to a spec that we know has typically the popular options. But where a customer can really put their personal taste aside from customizing some of the options is on the interior and color scheme. Every single boat that we have, and we actually have a dedicated interior designer here in the US who works with every customer. She'll actually select the interior for even a stock boat. So whether it's a boat that's coming in for inventory or going to a retail customer, the interior is hand selected. There's a standard collection of fabrics, but it's much more akin to when you build a custom home and you walk into a designer's office and they've got racks and racks of fabrics on the wall. That's essentially how we approach it. We have books to start with, but we don't say, okay, you're going to pick the red package or the blue package or the gold package. It literally is, here's the fabrics. Let's talk about your pillows. Let's talk about your bedspreads. And then we can always go over and above that as well. So we work outside of the standard collections, and we go right to design houses like Armani Casa. We go to Hermes and things like that. So the customer can really build their own personal touch into each and every boat. And for a customer that might be buying a boat that's come in for inventory, and quite often, particularly these days, things are unfortunately moving pretty quickly here. If a boat's coming in for inventory, they're actually buying an interior, even if they didn't personally select it, that has been customized and is special because it's not going to be repeated in any other boat. We've never actually done the same interior on any two boats, unless the customer specifically said, I love this interior, just copy it. And then that only happens a handful of times. So there's a level of meeting the dealer, learning about the boat. The customer coming into Princess will work with the sales person at the dealer level. They'll work with our representatives that are in sales. And then the next step in building the boat would be to sit down and either review an interior that might have already been selected if it's a stock boat that's on order, or they'll actually sit down with our interior designer and hand select their own interior. And it's quite a fun process. Really, you get that level of input and bespoke, as the British like to say, to the boat.
Wow, we've covered a lot. Yeah, we've covered a lot.
No, it's talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. That's my point. Yeah, so here we are. I mean, we're talking about from 35 feet to 95 feet, from people who just want a day boat. And actually, and if you haven't had a chance for anybody out there to experience the foil riding R35, it's an experience I would recommend if you ever get the chance to try it out, because it is pretty wild. And I actually have had the chance to see the X95 mock-up when I was over in England. So I'm looking forward to seeing the real boat when it gets here very, very soon. But since you have such a wide range of boats, for those people who may be watching now and are interested in learning more about Princess Yachts America and the boats you offer, where can they get more information?
Obviously, websites and emailers and things like that are the typical and traditional tools. Whether you visit princessyachts.com or princessyyachtsamerica.com, because we have our own, in-market website. Either one of those sites we run them pretty much in tandem. They've got duplicate information. One of the biggest things that we've tried to communicate, and particularly, with travel restrictions and things of late, it's brought a wonderful opportunity, because one of our biggest challenges is we talked about the owner's holidays, and that's a great tool if you've been to one, if you've experienced it. And Princess uses the tagline, "Experience the exceptional." So experience is very much a part of what Princess does. If you go to a boat show, obviously that's one place you can learn about the brand. One of the things that we've always tried to do, particularly in this market, but around the world as well, is that our displays are always very open. So when you come up to the display, you're going to feel welcome. Hopefully you're going to feel warm, warmth from the people that are working the stand. It should very much be an intimate connection from the beginning, because we're all about the experience of the ownership. We're all about the experience of the brand. The fact that we're crafting these boats, not building them, not manufacturing them. There's a lot of handwork that still goes into each and every Princess produced, and by nature of where they're built, they have to build as much in-house as they can. So we're trying these days to communicate the overall picture as best we can to those who may not be familiar with the brand. So we have, for example, a very large social media reach between the Princess Yachts America Facebook page, which is, I'm going to brag for a minute, the highest following in the marine industry. Probably yachting's a very close second. But it's, we have a lot of enthusiasts on there, and it's really very much a great communicator of what the brand's about, but also the experience that we deliver here specifically for the US market. Princess themselves have recently launched a television series that takes place, it's broadcasted live over Facebook. It's now going to go up to a once a month episode. And it's called the Princess Experience, and it is an episode that takes you behind the scenes of the factory. We do walkthrough tours live on some of the vessels. You might see the mock-ups. We talked about touring the X95 mock-up. Princess builds a full-scale mock-up of every single model that they produce. So those are the things you get to see in that Princess Experience series. So you should follow the Princess Yachts Facebook page. You should definitely check into the Princess Yachts America Facebook page. You'll see a lot of different content between the two. Instagram, obviously, a lot of the social media channels. And then this year we've launched something that I think I'm very excited about personally, but we've partnered with Yachting magazine, incidentally enough, and we're doing what we call the Princess Passport. And the Princess Passport is a site where you can see articles that have been written about the product. You can see videos and photos of some of the events that we do. There's lifestyle, like some recipes on there. And to me, it's really, we're trying to communicate the experience not only of owning Princess, but the experience of this passion of yachting and cruising viewed through the lens of Princess. So, there's some videos on there from the factory tours that we've done over the years with yachting, and a lot of great content on there. And that's something that we're going to continue to grow and build. And so I would say that's a fantastic place for someone that's completely new, particularly to bigger boating and cruising. Certainly new to Princess, it's a great place for them to connect. So if you go to princessyachtsamerica.com, you can find a link to the portal on there, the Princess Passport, and it's a great place to start if you want to learn about a bigger picture of what the brand is about, a bigger picture about what our owners are doing out there on the water, and some of those fun stories that we're trying to tell. So it is a story, and I think that much like what you're doing in the media side of things, we have a brand story to tell, and we do that through a lot of different channels. But certainly reach out to our dealer network, find us at a boat show, and definitely check out all of our assets online as well.
All right.
And I think another one, Patrick, is talk to an owner. I think I'm not afraid to say this. There may be some things out there that you'd be afraid to say, well, don't talk to that customer. But honestly, I would say that our customers, both past, present, and current, are certainly some of our best advocates, because when you're on the dock and you see a Princess owner, all you have to do is ask them about their boat, and they'll happily, like me, spend a lot of time talking, and they're passionate about it. So I think that's a testament to what the brand is about. It's a testament to what we're trying to achieve on the Princess Yachts America side as far as delivering a great ownership experience. So I think, I would definitely start in the marina. If you see a Princess out there, get a hold of the owner and have a conversation, because I'm hopeful that they've had the experience that I've seen a lot of our owners have, which is very positive.
Yeah, no,
and if they haven't had a good experience, well, it's okay to hear that too, because honestly, the feedback that we get is what has helped us grow. For 25 years as a distributor for Princess, we wouldn't be where we are now if we hadn't learned something along the way and made some mistakes. And I'm proud to say, for all of our team members here, that we are actually, this past year, we became the largest distributor for Princess in the world. Both by volume and dollar sales revenue. And that's a testament to the passion that all of our team members put into this each day. So I don't think you'll find any one of us in this company that isn't dedicated. Our cards have a cell phone on them, and if you call that cell phone number, you're going to get an answer, because that's the way we approach things. And that's part of that personal relationship and connection that we establish. We try so hard to achieve with our owners.
Oh yeah, I mean, even us. You even answer when I call.
I do, yeah.
Just before we wrap things up here, you guys have been on such a tear in terms of just creating new models and just pushing out new models. I know I know my inbox is constantly flooded, and we know we have this X80 coming soon. Are we going to see more as 2021 goes on of new Princess models going into the summer and fall?
Yeah, what we're going to see is we'll see some announcements. But as you know, Princess has a great track record of coming out with a new model, which again, they do from scratch. They build a full-scale mock-up. There's a lot of investment that goes into bringing a new model to market. And we don't waste that by changing the model after 2 years. So typical life cycle for Princess is going to be upwards of 5 to 6 years. The model is going to typically get some type of a refresh at some point in its life cycle. It might be a simple change of a hull window. For example, we've just come out with the new Flybridge 62, the F62, which has been in production now for about 3 years. It's been one of the hottest selling Flybridge models for us in this market, alongside the F55 and F50. We've now restyled the hull window, and the design there is just to bring it into line with what we're doing with some of the new product that's launching now. But also to bring a little more natural light into the boat. So, we get those mid-cycle refreshes, but the new model production and development continues. And this year we will see, as we mentioned, the landing of the X95 here very shortly in the North American market. The Y95 is in development, which will be more of a 2022 product. We have the X80 coming. That's actually going into build, the first hull, very soon. The Y72, which is a model that replaces the F70, was a previous model. And again, one of the most popular we had in this market. It started as a 68. It evolved into the F70 during its midlife refresh. And the new Y72 we announced in the summer, and we now have 4 of them under contract for the U.S. market. So we haven't even seen the first one yet. The first one is just now hitting the water in the UK. It's destined to a European buyer. But we'll see that model later in 21 here in the U.S., and it's already off to a hot start. So a lot of great things coming down the pipe. And again, this goes back to where we started on the conversation. These models we're taking what's working so well in this market. And I have to say, I actually sat with a customer who just sold their Princess 60 that they had for a number of years. Very, very big cruising couple. They've been in the Bahamas a number of times. done the East Coast run a few times, and they're looking at a Y72. And we sat through, and to be honest, it was the first time I really got to see the boat, because we were doing a live walkthrough of the first boat in the water over in the UK. And going through that boat, you might look at it on paper and say, well, it's like the 70, they kept the same layout, similar. I was absolutely blown away, and I am biased, and I'm going to admit it, but the non-biased part of me was even shocked, because the amount of storage that they've now built into that model over and above what the 70 had, we only gained really 2 feet. But what they've done as far as tweaks to the layout, new things that they brought in that they've improved upon from the 70 was absolutely mind-blowing. So I can't wait to show that boat off to the North American market. And I think it's going to shock a lot of people who are going to walk on there, much like I was ready to do, and say, well, okay, so it's a 72 feet bigger. But it really is, it's spectacular. So it just goes to show, when it's a testament to the nearly 3,000 people over in Plymouth, England, where Princess is built, that just every day you don't just say, okay, that was a great model, we sold as many as we could, let's just bring a new version. We don't have to change much. They continually push and push to find improvements, improve the ride as much as they can. These boats, the way they're built, the best thing that we found about them from day one was they are incredible seakeeping boats. Mm-hmm. There's no intercoastal in the UK.
No,
as you saw,
as I've experienced.
And Plymouth, Plymouth is right on the southwest tip of the country. So you come out of that sound and you are right in the thick of it. So these boats have got to be built to perform and handle, and that is absolutely the hallmark of what they're built around, apart from great accommodations and great craftsmanship. But they continue to improve even on that great aspect of handling. They still go, we beg, don't change anything, it's working great. And then they'll change something slightly and take advantage of new technology, and the boat comes out, it runs even better than the last one. So it's such a pleasure for me, 21 years to be involved with the company and the product and the people that I work with every day, and the relationships with companies like yours, where we get to talk about what we're doing. And it's truly an honor to be a distributor and be a part of the program, because as a company, Princess just continues to push. They're at the top of their game. There's no question about what they're doing is fantastic, but they're not stopping, and I think that's really that's exciting.
No, the constant evolution is important, as we know in boat building today. You always got to be pushing to the next level. Mm-hmm. I definitely look forward to seeing the Y72 as well, as soon as we can get out of this kind of situation, which is soon. I hope it's going to be soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I'll tell you, as hard as it's been, the boating industry, who would have guessed, is one of the best industries to be in during a pandemic.
Man, yeah.
And I know, not to dwell on it, but what has been absolutely fantastic to see is that this has been one of the best discover boating campaigns you're ever going to hope for. And it is such a pleasure to see so many people either getting into it for the first time or coming back into it, after being away from it for a few years. People are out on the water and they're enjoying their time, and you can't help but connect with your family and friends when you're on a boat and you're experiencing things together. And I think that not only is that our goal at Princess, is to deliver a great experience, but I think I could say that for almost everybody, or probably everybody in this industry. And we're looking forward to bringing people into the brand and working with companies like Yachting and to get the word out there about what we're doing and how much fun it is. And, just getting people out on the water and enjoying their time.
Fantastic. I can't think of a better way to wrap this one up. So
it's fun. We can't lie. We have fun with what we do,
That's right. I just want to say, James, well, first of all, thank you very much for your time and giving all of us a look into Princess Yachts America and all the boats that you offer and all your offerings in terms of service and that customer interaction is fantastic. So if you're watching, PrincessYachtsAmerica.com, Princess Yachts America on Facebook.
Yep, Princess Yachts America Instagram, and please check out it's a yachtingmagazine.com/Princess Passport.
And so with that, I'd like to thank you very much for being with us today, and stay tuned for more, because more is coming.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.